So welcome back, ladies and gents. We have a great game coming up for you guys at home. If you're just tuning in, this is the Battlefield ESL 1 group stage, and we're in Group C right now. We're going to find out who'll be joining Team Dignitas in that qualified position from this group. Will it be MYM? Will it be eSuba? It's a rematch, and it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, because considering we missed out, unfortunately, on that first game that they did, obviously, I think Brett FX covered it in English.
Yep.
It was ridiculous. Oh, actually, let's just drop you straight into the game here. We'll get into that, obviously, a little bit later. But we're on the first map. We're on Dawnbreaker here, and this game's already kicking off because over on the US side, we have eSuba, and over on the Chinese side, we have MeetYourMakers. And right now, MeetYourMakers, they didn't look good at all, apparently, in the first game against eSuba. They got taken to a map number 3 and only won the first half of the third map by 10 tickets. Like, that's how close these games were. And right now, I'm expecting nothing less. Yeah,
this is going to be an all-out kind of grudge battle between these two. Both teams kind of been forced to the positions they're in right now because of each other. And at the moment, Dignitas, eSuba, excuse me, coming out a little bit of the better at the very start. But you know, I've got to say, at MYM in a good position now. They have that player up on the catwalk being Punch. He's going to be challenged out by Reflex, and we'll be taking you through those lineups in just a second's time. Nice little work on in the end. And just take you through them, it'll be Yo-Yo Spirit, Lords, Eraser, Reflex, and Scope for the eSuba side. Over on the Chinese side, which is MYM, you'll be having Punch, Flax, Ducky Chan, Waffy, and Safe. You should know them by now.
They fixed their names for us.
That's nice of them.
Nice guys. But what's really funny is, this is a major grudge match between the two teams because we have the exact same 3 maps picked as we had in the first series. But obviously, we kick it off with Dawnbreaker. But instead of going to Locker for the second game, we'll be going to Zavod. And well, MeetYourMakers, they didn't look very strong on Zavod, but they picked that map for second for this one.
And I want to point out right now how well MYM are playing. They are really dominating this AB hold, and they are really forcing eSuba back just towards C. They've barely broken through here. Every single kind of slight push down this road they've been kind of dealing with. Safe spots out the 2 players. He should be at least getting the tags on towards him, getting the information flowing, and kind of keeping Ducky Chan in the loop that you're going to have some trouble coming your way. But Flax is the one to pick it up anyway, as he's in a similar position supporting from that kind of lower push through. He's going to pick up in Ducky Chan's place if he has to coming in, but actually Eraser is breaking out here, and they could maybe challenge down on A rather than B because, well, we still know Punch is here and he's still causing some trouble.
You see a major firefight breaking out between these 2 men here, and it looks like it will be MeetYourMakers coming out in the victor of that one. But MeetYourMakers, one thing we do have to point out is they're keeping control of this catwalk. They're keeping that lock down here. It's giving them full control of B. Meantime, they will be able to maintain the hold of it, and we're finally seeing someone finally go for a contest, but Scope will be taken out almost immediately here. And you know, we always talk about the Mayak spot, as we come to call it. Right now, MeetYourMakers, I haven't seen them actually utilize it just yet.
Well, I don't think they've been really allowed to. They've been having to focus so heavily towards that inner building hold, and it's going to come down to the C point, so you need to really pay attention to this. Scope's trying to get in. His teammates are being taken down, and Razor coming around from the side. They're going to lay down the fire with that Ace 23. Doesn't get too many connections, actually. He's going to be pushed around the back, picks up Punch, but he's going to have to get in towards his side pretty damn quickly. Finally, Scope comes in, and they might win out on this C site, but round the back still, Waffy is there, and MYM need another site to boot, because at the moment, they are in the lead, but not by a great deal.
All right, now they will have a 2-to-1 hold against them if they do lock down control C for eSuba side. And you can see these 2 men can be walking right by each other here. And who is that man? That is Safe, I believe, trying to push up on the south side of this. And he looks like he will unfortunately miss out on that shot here, but we'll have to chase around the corner. And B, honestly, could be capped over here very soon. But BC was maintained by the side of MeetYourMakers, and they're still controlling the catwalk here. So the real question is for eSuba, can they get B without being in vision of catwalk? And obviously you can. But who's going to be off to the side here? And we've seen certain people use this little connecting area to lock down control of B as well.
And that's pretty much what MYM were depending on, but it's not gone well. So they're kind of throwing that out the window and going back towards picking up A. Flax and Safe now making the way through towards that A site. It's fairly uncontested. Quickly enough, Lords and Eraser are falling back to maybe go for the retake rather than the challenge, which is probably the smarter choice in this one because they did have a triple cap for a couple of seconds, but they're still a fair bit behind on tickets, so they cannot be feeding kills towards the opposition. And they're still struggling to get in. They've kind of given away the advantage of players and a little bit of the surprise here as they're taking their time. Waffy's holding on, but here comes the push through. And it does seem as though eSuba will be picking this one up. Lords claims it, and it's going to be a triple cap if they get this one fully into their hands, and they will be doing so. And actually, the respawns for MYM look a little bit favorable towards that BC pickup, but they're still a long way off. And already eSuba are set up and looking to challenge.
And they are doing so damn well right now. I mean, yeah, they're down about 20 tickets, but they're kicking things off here, and we're expecting nothing less than a really close game between these 2 teams. And right now you're seeing Punch, yet again, switch up his guns a little bit, using the end still. And he's not having a terrible game, it seems, as he's 9-3. I mean, that's not terrible in any sort. But he also, to me, I don't know, I feel like I want to say I feel like he could do more, but he's been doing such a great job of locking down control of B here. So see him even switch out the pistol right there.
And that's all he has to do. As long as he keeps that, they can kind of force eSuba into these positions that the other guys can deal with maybe a little bit closer range. But anyway, we are still seeing eSuba trying to find their way back through. It's going to be a bit of a struggle down on that highway at the moment, which looks like MYM are going to come out the better off, as it's almost a full squad wipe against eSuba. Got a couple of revives come through as well, so they're going to be sitting fairly safe in this instant. But you saw how quickly it changed earlier on. eSuba still have a little bit of time to do something here, but they're going to have to make it happen fast. MYM are fighting hard in this. They saw there was a bit of a rude awakening against Team Dignitas, and it was a good warm-up, to say the very least. Eraser's struggling to get a shot off here, and MYM are playing from the baseline, but they're playing it well. And you've got these players like Punch or Wafi, Ducky-chan not going for the challenge because no one's going for the site yet. But when Eraser, when Reflex start moving in, they're already in a good setup spot here to do some damage. That's a dangerous respawn actually brought in there. Who was that? Not even sure who it was. That was a little bit dangerous. It was Flax actually coming in. He's going to pick up the kill towards Reflex, so good kind of face check value there going out. Ducky-chan kind of springing into the action, takes down Eraser, and actually MYM are fighting very hard here to keep hold of this one. Because eSuba are hot on their heels. It may not necessarily look like it in tickets, but, well, if MYM can, take their foot off the gas for a second, eSuba get that 2-1 hold, if not a trip cap. So it's a very tentative game for both teams.
Yeah, it's not in tickets, but the thing is, if maybe eSuba held on to the hold for maybe 30 seconds longer, like it would even up very damn quickly here. And you're seeing Reflex pick up a kill on a Ducky. It does still maintain control of A and B here, but MeetYourMakers, I want to say that maybe Suba's like their kryptonite here, because they're getting pushed pretty damn hard now. Even Dignitas was will just flat out destroying them, wiping the game with them. But well, right now, let's see what happens, because you look at Suba's side, 10-8 for Eraser, 8-10 for Reflex, 1-9 for Scope. Not having a strong game here, and I actually want to tag along with him for a little bit just to see what he is doing to get himself put in this position of this kind of score line.
Well, I think we're finding out right here. He's being the man on the site, and there's very little to do because you're forcing MYM to push towards you, and he's hoping that his teammates like Eraser can actually pick up the kill off the back of it. They might be doing just that, and actually Eraser's doing quite well, 11-8. Making it a little bit more. So, he's doing enough of a job to pick up the slack, which is fine. That's okay. And at the moment, they did enough of a bit of a kind of attention-seeking moment towards C to drag a couple of the members of MYM off that B site. But Ducky-chan is back in the action. Eraser springs into action, and there we have it. It's a good exchange. It's smartly done, and actually Scope is being that player to get around the back, get the spots, get the information, be the one to force the hand of the opponent. He gets a kill onto Wafi, and he's already kind of pestered them towards C. He's allowed Lords to push through. He knows now that this player's going back. Lords can play it safe, sit in cover, and play smart in this instant. They've been a little light on B, and that could cause MYM to push from B to A and get a 2-1 hold, though.
Yeah, very well could, and we're actually seeing eSuba try to kind of, I want to say, get a line hold here between A and C, but that's almost impossible, obviously, since you have B to worry about here. But they're kind of spread out. It looks like they want to contest, they want to contain C a little bit longer, and to me, this is actually, it's weird. I mean, obviously, when you have one person there, you kind of like, all right, we just kind of capped it because we have the time to, and we just, have the opportunity for it. But should they just swing like 2 or 3 men around a B instead of trying to back up and defend that C flag?
It's a good point, and well, it's going to probably come down to one of the deciding factors in this. And eSuba are constantly doing very well, but they're never challenging for this control of the catwalk, which I find a little bit kind of obscure that they're never going for that. But they're doing okay, and if they keep the tickets going down like they are, they'll be fairly even very quickly. And at the moment, MYM are now forced to make the move. Punch has had to move off that position he was previously in. He's been caught out there as he pushed across as well. And it's just not looking good. MYM are struggling. They're going to have to put the numbers out here. They're not going to be in a setup hold position, but they might claim this B flag. But here come the reinforcements down that highway side. Yo-Yo pushing in. Ducky-chan round the back, though, picks up one. He does get the second down and the respawn. So this could be looking good for MYM now. They're in a better spot to get the 2-1 hold, but that respawn for Reflex can be huge here. He's the last man in the squad, so they could lose out on A as well, which I think Punch knows about. But still, eSuba, of course, enough of a trouble. The second half is going to be a very close game.
Yeah, very well indeed, and that's exactly what they've had happen every single time, except that last half when it was a 100+ ticket lead for MeetYourMakers. Suba, they're fighting to the very end, 23-39 tickets. Like, I was honestly not expecting it to be this close at the end of things. And right now, Punch 12-5 here, Flax 16-12. We'll go to 13, but look at that man who stands out on the side of eSuba. Yo-Yo, 16-6 here, having a fantastic game right now. He's actually going to be pushing around to the A flag here where they camp on a C. And honestly, we could be looking at a sub-10 ticket advantage into the second half for either team.
If that, because right now, eSuba are challenging on every front. They've got C, they've got one man on B, they've got the challenge down on A. Yo-Yo now has to hold on, though. He's got the FAMAS, a gun with the highest fire rate out of all the assault weapons. He pushes in too early, though, and gets picked up in the end. But still, they've done a good bit of damage here. They can be pleased with that after such a dire start. If they can replicate what they've done in the later stages of this game, they could be in a good position to possibly pick this map up. But MYM, they've clearly learned from what's happened before. Wafi picking up the kill on towards Lords is going to help him out. They've got the 2-to-1 hold, and even right now, eSuba can't really pick up this C site. So this should be a good 30-ticket advantage to MYM. 32 in the end, so a very respectable scoreline. But that got rather close, I've got to say it.
Yeah, remember they did actually lose against eSuba on this map in their series just prior. And right now, MeetYourMakers, there was one man over 20 kills in that one. Ducky Chan, 20 and 9.
Really well played.
That was very well done by him. And Punchroll, who it was kind of weird. He was 9 and 3, I believe, when we first mentioned him.
Yeah.
Only got about 5 more kills after that. Only died two more times, though. So having still a very strong game, controlling that count. Just like you said, eSuba, not really challenging on it. They didn't really kind of care too much. And I feel like we've seen that out of a couple of teams, but typically it works against them. And right now, eSuba kind of made it work for him.
Yeah, I think it's a weird thing. You either have it or you don't. And some teams obviously don't go for it. And Yo-Yo, the highest fragger, was running with a gun that would never work in that position. He was running with that FAMAS, as I said, the highest fire rate, but you need to reload that thing every 3 seconds. You run out of ammo like it's going out of fashion. And it's not exactly an easy weapon to use in any other situation than in a hip fire and a very close range exchange. So even the top fragger wouldn't be able to do much in that sort of spot. So they're playing the inside game with Eraser covering, a couple of players here and there. But they have to be able to get that B site or the A and C hold. But they were a little bit tunnel visioned at the very start, I feel. But as I said, if they come out on this half, maybe a little bit more, I don't know, aware of how MYM play again. They had a little bit of a refresher, and now they need to kind of refocus. A 32-ticket advantage is nothing, really, or a 32-ticket deficit. Yeah, considering eSuba did manage to get a trip cap throughout this, they're certainly a good position. And right now, eSuba are in a good spot to play the close-range game. I'm surprised they have that many people alive. There we go. Finally suiciding out, leaving the one-man to boost up, get the respawns, and push straight in towards B. That's exactly what they need to do here, and what I can imagine they will do. The question for me is, does MYM go for the challenge down that highway road? Do they hope that Eraser goes straight in towards B, or goes for the C challenge? We're going to find out.
I also want to see if MeetYourMakers is going to send multiple people on this side to take them down, because we've seen that happen so many times. You do see that one man out trying to defend against it, but you will spot the 3 moving in. I'm going to tag along with actually all 4 of them now as they do. They make their way in. Nades being spanned out multiple directions, so they're going to take the high ground as well as they can with that staircase. But MeetYourMakers already waiting for them. They pick up the kills, and that will be a 3-kill streak for them with only Flax getting taken down. So that will be B held onto them. And that will be C as well. So they're get the early 2-to-1 hold. Even Punchroll killing his teammate just because he feels that confident. But again, eSuba, they're playing the inside game. They're playing from the buildings. And that means there's going to be a man right there heading up towards that catwalk.
Yeah, indeed, and I can imagine it's actually Wafi this time, so not Punch this time around. And actually, Punch was in a good aggressive position there, so I don't blame him for not being the man to go towards that catwalk side. But he's probably going to head over there eventually if he has to, but he can challenge out right now. He's in a good spot. He picks up Reflex. He's opened up a little bit towards A, so yeah, not bad play. But then again, when you're out of position, you're going to allow a little bit of a slip through, and eSuba aren't going to look, a bit of a gift like that and say no. They're going to head straight over towards C, putting 2 men in towards that B site. But Flax comes in, picks up a nice little double up for all of his trouble, and looks for a 3rd as well. So MYM looking like they want to prove a point here, and I don't blame them after the real surprise they've had to deal with. And this time, maybe they're sending Scope out to play more of a role on that catwalk.
Maybe, and let's actually go tag along with him when he does get that
he
respawn.
Just did die.
When he gets the respawn, but yeah. It's something that kind of we've seen eSuba do. They kind of care about A and C more than A and B or C and B sometimes.
Yeah, and I want to point out right now that MYM have put Safe in a kind of position like this. And it's actually a really unique place to play. He's finally been taken down, but he causes trouble for eSuba because we saw the way they were playing a little bit. They like that close range, kind of in-your-face game. And actually, using that little mid-cut through from the back highway towards B is going to be a vital route. Him kind of having to play there or punch roll, wherever they want to do it, is going to really hurt them. And at the moment it is. MYM will probably pick up C eventually because they've got a 2-to-1 kind of position on it. And there's the revive coming through. So they've got a better setup for this. And actually, MYM need to kind of regroup themselves together and get to the positions they know how to play, because eSuba are forcing them out of their comfort zone.
This is the thing, though, is that MeetYourMakers are playing a game like against a typical team that will typically send someone to catwalk, send people through B through this area, just through this northern side. But eSuba, they care more about working the south side of the road. They won't care about just going to the back side of C. And MeetYourMakers, they can't set up their nice hold that they typically like to do, you know, that kind of line defense.
Yeah, and right now, MYM are being punished for this because eSuba have broken through. Now, eSuba need to kind of have the foresight to think, okay, they're going to get the spawn back down by A. They're going to know it now because A has been capped over. And there's only 2 players able to really do much. One of them being Lords now on that catwalk. 3 men completely respawned in. Oh, those nades are perfect from eSuba, really chomping them down. 2 grenades coming in for Reflex, taking down Flax and Ducky-chan, allowing the push-up. We are seeing a little bit of that Mayak roll come into play for Punch Roll, but that's only to get back towards catwalk eventually. Nice shot towards Reflex there from him. Takes Reflex down quite comfortably and kind of opens up a possibility towards B. But it's a bit of a switch around this time. MYM having to play that inner building game because they're just not getting control on that kind of catwalk section. But Punch going back in for the push here could give it back to them. But that nade really locking them down.
But we do have a squad wipe coming in, though, for eSuba. They all did get taken down here, so now they're going to be fighting just to hold on to any of these flags. The C being capped over, B's being capped over, and as you can tell, A is already in favor of Dignitas here. Dignitas, MeetYourMakers, I did it too. But that will be a tri-cap coming in for a split second, and now it determines how long Wafi can hold on to this. If he can do a pretty decent job, then he can give them a huge lead here right now. He picks up one, he's looking for the second one behind the flag, and he will throw that nade out and still survive here. So that's a huge win for them. And he has delayed the cap for a little bit, and that has allowed MeetYourMakers to finally start getting set up with that line defense that they're used to.
Yeah, indeed. And MYM, the tickets are still fairly close, but, you know, it's... MYM still need to kind of stay focused in this. They need to keep the pressure on because eSuba, you give them a glimpse and they're going to get involved in this. But then we've got to bear in mind, Yo-Yo's had a lot quieter half this time around with that Famous. I think MYM are kind of getting used to what's going on here and they're just challenging him straight down. They're sending Wafi to deal with him. He might go down afterwards, but he's slowing these guys down, allowing MYM to get into the more ideal positions. But they've got to be careful. That random spawn will come around to bite them in the arse, and that's exactly what's happening. Scope. He's back there, he's going to get the flag cap, and Yo-Yo's going to have to push up and try and cover him off a little bit close range because he can't do it from the site with that Famous. So it's still up in the air, it could go both ways, but it's still a very fast-paced game in the switch around of sites.
It really is, and the thing is, it's between the the lead between the two teams about 50. But this is kind of what we saw, obviously, in the first half. eSuba somehow kind of rose up towards the later parts of the game. And right now, obviously, they're still at that 32-ticket threshold, so they have to start being really careful with the fights that they do engage in, unless they're 100% confident. But Reflex, he's been sitting up towards that Mayak area, really picking up quite a few kills. He got a great double kill with his nade earlier on, and he will just charge straight up over the wall, pick up the kill. And little plays like that can obviously open up quite a few different avenues of attack. But right now, he charges in his 2 men here. Ducky-chan, the last man standing, and looks like Ducky-chan will get the kill finally. But it's still, Reflex alone held up 3 men right there, and that has finally given them the ability to cap B, cap C. But look at this, MeetYourMakers already sending flags up to the C flag, and they're also sending in Safe as well. They're going for a 2-prong attack here, and Safe, I thought he was going to go for the knife right there, but gets a kill anyways. And now MeetYourMakers going to have that 2-to-1 hold here. Maybe even a tri-cap here in just a few seconds if Flags can pick up that kill. But honestly, MYM, they're looking to finally win this first game.
Yeah, and the big thing I want to point out is the difference in kills this time. Last time was a very close game. This time, 45-27 and then 30-43. That is enough to give you a big advantage in these one-on-ones on the sides. It's what's pretty much giving MYM a real confidence boost. When Ducky-chan and Flax are on point, like they are, it's very hard to take these guys down. You got Flax on 13-8, 13-5 with Ducky-chan, and he's just really causing havoc. He's playing in a position he's comfortable in, he's watching several angles, and he's making it count. They're holding this 2-to-1, and every second they hold it further, the more eSuba are hurting, and there's not much that eSuba can do if they don't win these one-on-one battles. And Ducky-chan isn't stopping. He's just on a rampage right now, and it's going pretty well for him.
Yeah, we have 35 tickets now, and it looks like that's pretty much going to be it here, though. MeetYourMakers sitting at 89 left to go, and it looks like we will have eSuba drop this first map, and this is their map choice of this best of 3, obviously. And right now, that means we will be going into Zavod. That is going to be interesting because MeetYourMakers looked very bad in the first half against Dignitas. But second half, remember that hold they did with 3 people was ridiculous out of them, and I wonder if they can do that yet again.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be on their minds, and as we are just dropping below that threshold, we will be looking towards that second map, and I want to say it, MYM looked pretty much well aware of what went wrong for them maybe in the earlier game, because they look quite definitively stronger, and it may just be the fact they've warmed up now. Individually, you know, Ducky-chan 18-6, Flax was 14-9, and they were on point, you know, throughout all of that. They were landing these shots that give them the hold, that give them the advantage. Yes, tactics matter. Tactics truly come into effect, but eSuba could not break through. eSuba were in their faces on the first half, and it was close.
It seemed like the second half, though, they tried to play more of a standard game, more of a normal game, actually contesting catwalk.
Yep.
But
it didn't really work.
Yeah, not for them.
No, they never broke through. They never really maintained on B at all. They constantly pressured, but they were never quite there, and it was a bit sloppy from eSuba. Maybe, obviously, after watching Dignitas and MYM playing against each other, these very like core drilled down teams, you kind of expect a little bit more of structure, but they were playing quite sloppy then, and I don't know if it's kind of getting to them. They're having to fight the way through the lowers almost. But they need to step up now, because you don't want to give MYM advantages. There is a reason they're a good team, and you remind them of that, they're going to use it against you, and they will keep building this pressure up.
I wonder if that's eSuba's style, though. Because, like, well, let me
okay,
explain it.
I'm going to let you go for this.
They didn't care about contested catwalk, which you typically don't see most teams do. But they're more about working on the backside. You know, obviously, the south side towards, you know, from between A and C, either through the buildings or even through the road in the back. And we saw MeetYourMakers struggle with it, obviously, in that game. Like, they really had a hard time getting the defense they needed. Yeah, they won the first half, you know, with 32 tickets, but it wasn't as clean as they probably would have expected, or we would have expected. And I think that little bit of change in style caught them off guard, but they adapted to it a little bit more. Maybe eSuba adapted the wrong way, trying to play more like a normal team. And maybe it's that crazy style out of them that makes them, or that made them actually take MeetYourMakers to 3 maps earlier on.
Well, I just look forward to this one. That's actually a good point.
I like to talk out of my butt.
That's a weird sentence.
I don't know why we came back to us. Our producer Matt trying to catch me up, but I will never blush.
Ooh, talking out your butt.
I could have said, you know, a different word, but I was trying to be, you know, PG-13.
But
I don't know. I like thinking of those weird things, because sometimes I'm like Dogbert. Sometimes I'm right. Out of the 100 times I'm wrong.
Eventually, Dogbert will be right. That's the thing. If you constantly say it, one time out of a million, as you said, you might be right. So, I don't know. Right now, MYM looking okay. That's the thing. That's all I can say. Because eSuba didn't look great either. This was kind of a battle of who played the most standard. It wasn't a great game. I think we maybe need to kind of dial back my opinions on this one, because, okay, basically, I'm looking at eSuba now as a team that can challenge the top. It's the easiest way to do it, right? They almost did earlier on, but now they're not quite doing it. Maybe they're finally falling back into the form that we kind of expected, but it's not the right time to be doing it. You have a moment to step up and do well. This is the one chance where you could actually knock, you know, the likes of MYM down to a position that no one really wants. So I'm kind of hoping that they can step up here and do something a little bit more.
There's one thing that I will give them credit for, is the fact that they did lose to Fnatic in the first cup. They did lose to MeetYourMakers in the 4th cup, and they lost to Exacquio in cup number 2 and 3. Like, they did lose to some pretty damn good teams. So, you know, maybe they could have actually gotten a lot higher if they had a little bit of an easier round. But obviously right now, we've seen them be able to contest MeetYourMakers, just like you said. And we're going to be kicking this one off here with MYM over on the Russian side and eSuba over on the US side here. Let's see how this one goes. Are we going to have any of those NG kits coming in? And it looks like we will have one on safe. So we're going to tag along with him. We're going to see where he's going to use this here, what walls he will take down. And he's doing the opposite of what we saw Frantic kind of do, or at least in the beginning he was. Oh, that's interesting, though. That gives him another route to attack C.
But no one's really gone C. That's... I'm going to wait to see how that comes into effect here for MYM. They've taken down enough of the opposition to give him a clear route to possibly pick up a triple cap here, because they're holding on towards A as well. It's down between Waffy and one other, but he's got support not too far away, and Reflex does take down safe, but as I mentioned, Waffy is still around, and it's going to be probably a 2-to-1 hold in the end, but I'm still kind of curious why they took down this wall, and maybe it's so MYM can have a more aggressive hold towards this C site, you know, so they don't get so dominated and surprised through mid. Or maybe it's for a faster rotate. I'm not too sure. But right now they are in the advantageous position of that 2-to-1. But they have quickly rotated off C for some unknown reason and kind of given it to eSuba.
Yeah, this is, to me, showing remnants of how maybe the first series went between the two teams. Maybe MeetYourMakers is thinking a little bit too hard about it, trying to counter the strategy they used against them last time. Remember, they only had 10-ticket lead out of the first half, but I don't know, that is really odd to just kind of ditch C here, but they do go for the rotate, they do go for A, and now they're trying to fight over B here, and well, MeetYourMakers, they will be able to lock that one down here, so they will still maintain that BDC hold, but still very weird. Oh wait, that colors were switched on my screen for a second. At least I think they were. I don't know, maybe I'm just going crazy, but anyway, sorry, eSuba, they do have the BC hold, and MeetYourMakers now, that was a major mistake. That's something we can both agree on.
Yeah, I'm not sure what happened with MYM there. Maybe overthinking things, as you said, rotating a little bit too quickly. But they're going to have to work their way back into it. I'm sure they can. Waffy does take down Scope there, so kind of taking away some of the defense from C and allowing him to push in and possibly get a triple cap here because there's no one here to defend. So once again, I'm not sure what the hell is going on with these teams because they're playing so fast on their rotates. They're actually not defending these sites. They're immediately going from one to the other to one to the other. And it's good when it works. You know, MYM did this fast anti-clockwise rotate against Dignitas, which finally kind of came to a halt. But when they're not even picking up these sites long enough to make a difference, I'm kind of curious as to why they're doing it.
They just kept C and they left it. Like, that was Waffy who just got C and then immediately left it. Like, they're doing exactly what you're saying. They're doing that, like, everyone just go to a big circle here and cap points as quick as possibly can. I don't really agree with that.
No, I look at Dignitas, who played it very smart. They got this 2-to-1 setup. And when you play this fast rotate game, you have to depend on getting these kills in. Maybe after the first half, they're like, okay, we're better one-on-one players. We can lock this out. We'll be fine. But you're also giving a chance to get it to come down to these very close scorelines, these 10-ticket differences. Sometimes you need that extended 2-to-1 hold to give you that solid advantage. Finally, MYM have it, but they have one person on C to defend, a couple of respawns coming through, and you know, already they're starting out to B. Yes, it's a nice fast rotate, but they didn't draw enough of the attention of eSuba in towards that C site to really allow for them to push out. I'm not sure if MYM are still thinking they're playing against Dignitas here or what's happening, but they're a little bit too quick on the marker. And okay, yeah, they might do all right here, but it's sloppy. It's not this smart, clean play that we know eSuba for and MYM for.
Oh, Yo-Yo, he played that one so smart. He waited for the Flatic Cap to get the backspawn on him. He does pick up one kill, does get a respawn on top of him. I believe that was actually Reflex, but he gets taken down. But they're pulling them in different directions. Like, eSuba are playing so awkward-like that they even might be able to pull up a tri-cap here as they're have Eraser here currently at that A flag, trying to defend against it. Gets Ducky, who ends up getting the kill. But you see, I mean, eSuba, like, look at this. They're just randomly going to flags and pulling people away, and it's forcing these quick rotates on MeetYourMakers. I think MeetYourMakers are actually playing eSuba's game here, even though the score doesn't really show that. But they just feel like they can't get the grip on the game they want to play, so they might as well just play against the other team's style.
I don't know right now. At the moment, let's look at it this way. Excuse me. One team has 103 tickets, one has 98. And that's just because maybe MYM have been a little bit faster on the rotates. They've been hitting more of these sites and kind of winning over a little bit more on A occasionally. But
if we had like a stat,
I'm really not sold.
If we had a stat of how many flag caps happened for each team, like how many turnovers, it would be ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
Because that's just all that's been happening here. Yeah, you see them hold on to one at at any given time here, but B, well, MeetYourMakers finally do get control of it here. But look at the respawns coming for eSuba right in the middle. They have the easy way to go towards A, easy way to go towards C here, and that's all about Reflex Boy. If he can hold on to this push, it has come down at him over towards the C flag here. And it looks like he will hold on for a little bit here, maybe get a respawn or two in, and he will immediately just kind of run towards A, maybe to help that one out here, but Lords does get taken down.
Yeah, and the MYM members in mid then didn't really make up their minds towards whether they're going A or whether they're going C. It's like they didn't have faith in Safe to actually pick up that kill towards Lords. So they kind of dithered in mid, and it's kind of allowed the likes of eSuba to pick this one back up through that mid control. And once again, yes, eSuba aren't leading in tickets, but they're not far away either. Even though MYM have been quite dominant, they're not really displaying it in those tickets they're holding. And eSuba still maintain on the more preferable side of C. So I'm not sure if this is the best way to do it, and this is why we're seeing those close scorelines. Yes, finally we might see a triple cap coming through, but straight away B is left vulnerable, and eSuba, well, they're going to get on that. And
or will they?
They left too quickly. This is what I'm talking about. They literally forgot to pick up the site, and now there you have it. Punch will say, all right, you don't want this, I'll pick it up then. And I'll quickly rotate off of it anyway, so don't worry. But still, it's this kind of overly quick rotating game where they just don't feel comfortable to play defensive Battlefield, which to me means they don't have pre-setups. They haven't been doing the homework. Maybe I'm being too harsh. Maybe my sights have been set too high by watching Dignitas. But MYM, yes, they've always played this fast rotate game, but they've maintained sights and they've beaten people out one-on-one. Currently, they're winning the one-on-ones, but they play a team who are a little bit stronger in those. They would be absolutely screwed right now. So 94-52, finally they're getting back into this, but if eSuba kind of focus down, they really hunker down into what they're doing, they start playing smart rather than going for just kills, they could easily turn this one around.
Let's just say this. Previously, about a minute ago, the score difference was about maybe 20 to 15-20 score difference.
Yeah.
And that was basically all translated into kills.
Yeah.
Like, that's how quick everything is being turned around. But finally, MeetYourMakers, they finally got a 2-to-1 hold. It looks like they were able to maintain it yet again with Punch picking up A. And they're finally able to accumulate a lot of points, a huge lead.
That was really good play from eSuba, though. They sent Scope out a little bit early to watch that push across from Waffy and Ducky, so it's allowed a BC setup for eSuba. And I said, if eSuba kind of get their head in the right place, they could turn this one around. And this is a very strong setup. This is ideal. They need to keep this up now. They need to play smart. They need to get these crossfires locked down and expect where the likes of MYM are going to come from. Obviously, some of the cover removed is not going to make it easy. And it's no Jerk and Jaquili, but Yo-Yo and Reflex are now going to have to hold on against 3 players coming in on the push. They can even these tickets up. They can see the nades coming through. They must play this one smart. Yo does not land the shot. He allows a player in towards C. And this is going to be a very hard side to take back here. It's never an easy one. Here comes a push in. Yo-Yo goes for the challenge. He's got support, and they pick it up. C is still not clearly MYM's, and they're in trouble here. And I said it, if eSuba plays smart, they can really lock this one out, and it's pretty much a squad wipe against MYM. There you have it. And look at those tickets, 63 to 45. eSuba can turn this one around if they keep playing like this.
Well, who made the call to just all of a sudden, hey guys, you know what we should try right now? Let's just go for this. Let's just defend a flag instead of just leaving it right away, because, well, they've proven they can do that very well here. We have a really weird spawn coming in for Eraser. He could potentially get the cap on an A, but look at this potentially 3-man push onto the C flag here. It's a 1-for-1 trade so far with Yo-Yo being taken out, but Reflex immediately getting back as quick as he possibly can, looking for the kills. We'll spot them out on upper, and we'll pick one up here. So we could actually see eSuba coming out of the first half with a victory, because right now it's 49 to 44 tickets.
They won't, though, in this state, because it was Lords who lost out on the one-on-one towards B against Ducky Chan. Lords went on an early rotate, kind of trying to support at C rather than defending the B site, and they gave it up. So now they have a 2-0 hold against them. They're going to get A quite comfortably, but with the likes of Safe in a good position to watch the cross, I don't think they're going to get back in towards C, and they're not fast enough to get towards B. By the time they get around to these sites, it's going to be like 20 tickets left towards them, and they're going to have their backs to the wall. They might be able to do it if they play it smart, but right now they've kind of been mowed down in mid, which is not the way you want to be doing this. You must get across quickly. You cannot allow MYM to get these kills in the bag, and that's what's happening right now. MYM are just stomping them down on the cross, and eSuba, they're going to struggle now. They're finally at C with 26 tickets, funny enough. But is it fast enough? They've got a 2-1 on B. They could get this, but there's going to be a random respawn coming in soon enough, if not Punch pushing out to A, to give a 2-1 in any way and any shape over towards MYM.
Well, right now we need to see eSuba go for that push on a C here, as they have gained control of B, but now they're too slow in their rotates. Now they're just taking too long to actually push in towards the next flag here, and they were too fast earlier on. Then they were good for about a good minute there. They were at perfect pace, and then now they're too slow, and they need to change things up here, because now there are 18 tickets left to go. They're finally going for the push onto C flag here. Safe. Well, look to defend it, but it will be taken down here. They finally get the 2-1 back. But now here's the real question. How many tickets can they bleed off of MeetYourMakers?
Okay, now Lords needs to play carefully here. He can't play stupidly. He must lock down B on his own, or at least get enough information to tell the rest of the team of eSuba when to come and support him. I'm not sure why Yo's going over there early. He really doesn't need to be in this position. He's kind of gone out here on a limb, and he could get picked up. If he doesn't play smart, he's playing from the outside, which means he's vulnerable from the back. He does pick up the kill. Good work from him. Ducky Chan finding Scope has kind of chipped away at some of the defense on C, and is being challenged out right now. Eraser needs to get in on this site. He must defend this. He's actually picked up one, but will he find the other? Is there anyone left on the site? No. It's been one out by eSuba, and this could turn things around, but they must keep fending off the opposition. They're going to have to play smart. Reflex goes for the challenge rather than the smart play of watching for the push, and now they're going to struggle. eSuba are going to bring this one close, and they could turn this one around. They finally found the position to be able to do it, but can they keep withholding here? They finally sent a player out. Lords has been left to rotate. He's been picked up, and that's left B completely vulnerable. This could be the turning point. This could be a triple cap to end it in favor of MYM because of some silly plays coming out from eSuba, and I've got to say it.
Well, the first time these two teams played against each other on this map, it was 10 tickets at the end of it.
Yep.
We're going to have about that yet again here from MeetYourMakers. Looking at about 15 as we get those respawns come in for eSuba, but still, 15 tickets, not that strong. But then again, we have to think they had over 100 ticket lead in the second half of this map just prior. Like, I don't understand how it had things swap and change so quickly. I don't like change.
I don't like change. Yeah, Jason gets scared of any sort of change. I'm not sold on both these teams playing like this. Credit to eSuba for finally working it out, but they were forced into a playstyle that wasn't really theirs, and they never quite got into the flow of things in that defensive style. They had to play it because it's the only way to beat MYM. I don't know. I really don't know in this one. It's you know, there's as much analysis as I can say, but a 15-ticket lead comes down to who maybe got one squad wipe.
We can say the same to, I guess, MeetYourMakers in that sense, where they, you know, were kind of still playing the kind of game that eSuba was, but then they had the 2-1 hold a lot of the times. but they didn't stay there to defend it. They didn't leave people to hold onto the flags. They kind of just rotated again as quick as they possibly can. I mean, it's really hard to analyze that one, especially when it's just 15 tickets at the end. But it's going to come down to the second half here because MeetYourMakers, if they win this one, they will have qualified as a second slot into, obviously, the playoffs. And that will mean eSuba will be going into Group D, which will be on Wednesday. But eSuba, we've seen them perform well. They've been doing it so far. It's just they don't have that little extra edge they need to close out a game.
Let's see if they can do it. They know what worked now. If I know it's very hard. Obviously, we've got 20/20 hindsight vision. We've got an overview map. We have everything they don't. But they need to now look back and say, okay, what gave us almost a 60-ticket lead turnaround? Okay, it's when we held and played defensively in the 2-1. When did we get a 100-ticket lead against us? When we've been overly rotated. Simple analysis on this from them could give them a victory here for eSuba. Whether or not they can do it, I don't know. And I'm curious to see if they've learned fast enough. That's the big thing for me. Both teams are talented, but right now they need to play smart and they need to play clever because this is what it comes down to. So MYM will be starting on that US side and it'll be eSuba on the Russian side. And let's bear in mind, if eSuba drop below 15 tickets, they are out of this.
Let's see, no one's actually going for the engineer class this time. Not trying to take down any walls here, but nice kill comes in on the rotate towards B, and that does give them that man advantage here, not to mention 2-man advantage, and it looks like they will take down that last person, so B's going to be an easy cap for him, and with that, it allowed, I believe it was Ducky-chan to get right back to C as quick as possible because they know that hit will be coming here soon. Even safe. He's set up in the underpass right now, waiting for that one man to push in through it. Instead, he realizes, you know, I can probably turn around, pick up a kill or two, and he has at least secured one, so MeetYourMakers off to a good start.
Yeah, eSuba sending 3 players over to A at the start. I'm not sure if I like it. I know we like the 3-man stack towards B, so maybe send one through mid.
What is happening?
But they've done it. They've pushed through somehow. You know, Lords and Reflex picking up the kills, but then again, fast rotates from MOM out towards A. Very fast pace, but can they lock it down? Aggressive play from Flax. And Safe has left B fairly open to the likes of Lords to push around on the flank. So once again, these fast rotates, leaving sites open. Lords will pick that one up. And there we have it, a 2-1 to eSuba.
But MYM had B, they had C, they had the controls, as in, like, they didn't even have 2 people there. They had 3. They had enough people to defend, and yet they leave the flag. I don't understand. I just really do not know what's going on here. But either way, MeetYourMakers, they still come out of the first half with an advantage. And it looks like they want to go for a hit on the C here. This is what they struggled on against Dignitas. It's like they're struggling that much here this time.
Yeah, indeed. They're looking a little bit stronger here. I want to see what they can do now further on down the line in this one, because at the moment, eSuba found this positioning before. They found this 2-1 hold. And they really extended it. They played smart on this. They played very carefully. So this is what I'm looking for them to keep doing. And if they can keep kind of MYM at arm's length, and you know, if MYM keep doing these silly pushes in like dribs and drabs, then perfect. But Lords needs to play smart here. He can't play the game he was playing before. He must play carefully. He must play for the bigger objective rather than the kills. He does get the kill there towards Wafi, but he now needs to be careful. He's in a position that's well known and he's out on his own. He's going to be chased down. Well played to that. Picks up Ducky-chan and they maintain on B. Smart play, but now they need to expect where the next push is coming in, which is probably going to be C. So Yo-Yo and Eraser now need to be on point. Eraser's watching lower, Yo-Yo watching upper, and now Reflex must be able to spot out these players coming across, but those nades are going to cause real havoc. He's got to play smart in this situation, because right now, MYM are knocking on the door of that C site.
They're knocking, but they're not being let in just yet here, as we're going to see Wafi. Well, it looks like he will be able to push in right here in just a second. And we'll finally have a clear path in, but he's got to pick up the kills. His team has to get something going right now. They've picked up one. Looks like the revive has come back in, but here they go. Finally picking up quite a few here. Wafi even gets one in there as well, and they will get that hold on to C here. They will cap it, and in the meantime, they even potentially could cap on a B because that squad wipe will be coming in, and they're going to go straight forward here. But now everyone's spreading out. Like this, I don't necessarily agree with, because you can guess they're going to spawn at A. Why not just get the hold that you want at C and B in the meantime?
I like the play from Flax, pushing forward a little bit to try and keep them where they are, but I'm not sure why Punch has joined him. Maybe to watch the cross towards B. Okay, not too bad, but does he have enough cover really here? He's prone down in the middle of mid. I'm not sure, but if he gets the spots, fine, but he could also be flanked around the side. Yo-Yo's made it in towards C, and really that's quite smart play. If he can get some reinforcements here, then fair play to the guy. He's finally been taken down, but Reflex comes in, tries to locate the player who just took down his teammate. He gets the tag, not the frag. Somehow, Flax stays alive, and that was really smart play in the end. but came down to 1v1s rather than a good setup. But they've worked out this 2-to-1 hold will give you the win, and Flax is enjoying that factor there. A nice little double in the end coming in for him. He does finally go down to eSuba, and eSuba have kind of worked a way into this one. There's only one man left towards C, which is Wafi, and if they're fast enough to capitalize on it before those respawns come in from Flax, they could pick up this site. But right now, A being challenged as well, they need to win out in a bit of a disadvantageous position on C, and they're a little bit slow on the push then, but if they're a little bit quicker, I think they could have taken C and A and hold the 2-to-1.
Right now, look at Punch, though, coming in from the backside of A. He's trying to use that Wing Haven spot, it looks like, here in just a few seconds, or just kind of get on top of tanks to be a little bit of a turret here. But either way, he spotted out the man. He's gotten the information. That is what's key here. And he's sticking around the backside, just waiting for them to rotate out. And they've done that. Wafi's going to be on the receiving end of that. He spots 3 people up, but unfortunately, Punch gets taken out. That would have been the perfect time to rotate.
Yeah.
But look at that. Wafi picked up 3 huge kills. And now Fox is pushed up as well, being very aggressive, fighting on their side of the map here. And that's given that 22-ticket advantage.
Stunning play. That is what makes MYM good. When they play aggressively, but in a smart way. He got the spots out, he got the information, told Wafi, okay, they're pushing in, get ready, and he got the kills. But now there's a 4-man squad heading right towards MYM. Wafi's gone down, and, well, eSuba, they're going to make their push right here, right now, and they have to. A has been this for an extended bit of time, but still, they've not been able to get a foot towards anything else. Flax holds on again, picking up 1. He picks up 2. Beautiful play from Flax. He is holding on like a champion. Finally goes down to Lords, but Wafi's in place to do the damage. That hip fire from the Fam is just going to really reign supreme. Finishes off with a pistol just for a little bit of flair. And they main the 2-to-1 and pick up the A site just to boot for a second. So this is smart play from MYM finally. This is what gives them wins. This is what gets them to the top of the league and gives them a huge advantage at 104 tickets to just 59.
I think his Punch, he capped A, then immediately left. He didn't try to hold on to it because he realized as long as I cap that flag, they have to get it back, and I can just stall for time. I can keep them here on this side of the map for a lot longer. And when he eventually does get taken down, but it doesn't matter. The damage has been done here. 2 men now split off, just work towards C here, even working towards A last second or 2 once they see it being kept over. But they're just pulling him in so many different directions that eSuba, they just don't know how to react to this. And they can't even play their like wonky, crazy, everyone go everywhere kind of style right now because they can't even hold a flag.
And I've got to say, this is what I like to see from MOM. They're finally kind of getting the right kind of motion, but they've over-pushed 2 players from C. They're confident, fair enough, but don't take it lightly. We've seen bigger comebacks in this. They left C near on undefended. They pushed 2 of their players out towards mid, like Wafi and Punch Rule, allowing the likes of Scope and Yo-Yo to push in. Now they're going to have to come down to these one-on-one exchanges that can go either way, and it has become a 2-to-1 in favor to eSuba. Don't give these guys a foot in the door. I know MYM want this over and done with, but this sloppy play has caused teams like Infuse to fumble the ball so hard that they've lost the game overall. So, you know, A is being contested right now, but MYM are not picking up the kills towards it. Punch is outnumbered now. And already we are seeing eSuba pushing out. And if Safe spots this, he could either go safely back in towards C and go for the cap, or go for the challenge on towards B. This is what it comes down to, these choices. He's going to go for the support towards B and quickly get back out towards C, I can imagine. Smart play in the end. He's got reinforcements now with Wafi. And I think MYM are just going to outplay them here if they play this one smart. It's going to get close, but I think MYM know they're now, you know, 1 good hold away from winning this.
Yeah, you got to remember, 15 tickets is that threshold right now. And it looks like we're going to have Punch Real pushing towards A by himself. Looks like he might be able to pick up the kill with the pistol there, swapping between the guns.
Everything.
Well, he will stall for a little bit more time, though. In the meantime, MeetYourMakers get shut down the push on C here. So we're seeing eSuba finally come back here. They have the AMC hold. We saw how well they did in that first half when they can finally sit back and do that. But now we have to find out, can they do it again here? Because they are so low on tickets.
They really are. But let's bear in mind, this could have been over and done with for MYM. But now Lords is in trouble. He's pretty much on his own here. He's not got much support at all. He's got 4 players coming towards him. A is being contested. He knows his players here. He's got 1 respawn of Reflex coming in. He's going to prone down, try and get the vision onto this one, but there's 2 players, Flax and Wafi. In the meantime, C is being challenged over by Punch Rule. This is not looking good. There's no challenge from eSuba. They need to get in towards these sites. They can't just let them go to the opponents. Lords is going on the rotate around the back, but here we go. B being won out by eSuba. Immediately reinforcements, but this could be a triple cap if they're not fast enough on towards B, and Safe is doing the damage. Oh, beautiful work in the end from Safe coming in, and it's just giving them the 2-to-1. 28 tickets is not a lot to work with, and MYM already looking to challenge over on towards that B side. They've got the players, but can they get the kills? Yes, they can. They've left C open, but Reflex now has to take on possibly 3 players of the opposition, and I'm not sure if he can do it.
Well, this will be very hard. Does get one, though. Looks for the second one. Unfortunately, he won't pick that up, I believe. But still, 22 tickets. They have about 7 left to go to work with here. And they neutralize these quite a few points. But eSuba now 2-1 hold with A and C. They're losing C currently as we see MeetYourMakers coming from the bomb side. But Reflex coming up big with some kills. Does get taken out from the back. And that will be C and B maintained, or at least B for a little bit longer for MeetYourMakers, as we have even Wafi pushed up towards that A flag. So it's coming down to time here. And well, eSuba, they have 2 tickets to work with here, or they're out.
Pretty much, and Eraser
just like that, turns
almost
to 1.
pushed off. Yeah, it's too little too late, I've got to say. But in the end, that came down very close because MYM Neron threw that one away, and every site is being contested right now. eSuba could walk away with a 2-1, but any kills coming back into against them are going to hurt them in this. No more respawns now available. Punch finding Reflex is not going to help the matter. 3 players now standing against the entirety of MYM, who've got a lot of tickets to work with. They're desperately trying to hold on here. They're making this close, but it's too little too late. And I've got to say it, MYM in the end stepped up to the plate.
Yes, they did. Great job by them to really come back from that one. And they're even still playing this one out with I don't know why, but I mean, I guess they wish they were still in that one. But that does mean, though, we have our 2 teams qualified now from Group C, and we finally have Group D drawn up. I'm not sure if it's done yet by the admins, but I will try to do it very quickly, just so you guys have an idea at home. So
I've got to say it, though, all in all. MYM played well. They played smart, as you can see there. They overcame the issues, let's say, that previously phased them. And GGs are being said in game. Do not fear, guys. It is over and done with. eSuba were close. They were very close then. But I've got to feel like it. MYM came into that like, okay, let's just get this done. Let's get this dusted down the way. It wasn't the smart play that they can come out with. We saw it kind of come into effect eventually with the 2-1 holds. But that was very late in the day. That was not quick enough to my likings. Now, you look at Dignitas, they didn't mess around against any opponent. They came in straight away like hot. They're like, okay, we're not messing around here. First game, we're going to play to our absolute best. Second game, did exactly the same. There's your first through in the group. MYM may have let it slip a little bit, and they scraped through. But maybe they're holding stuff back. Dignitas have shown their hand now. You've got to say that. Teams will look at this and go, well...
Or have they?
Have they? But they have shown their new kind of game style. Teams could look back and go, well, now we know what they're doing. We can kind of find a weakness in this somewhere and try and exploit it. Whereas MYM, they played MYM Battlefield. It was fast. It was not very pretty, but they got the victory in the end. It just took a little bit of time. But you've got to look at the bigger picture here. Maybe Dignitas were trying this out early because they needed to get to this point. But MYM still
maybe it's a test run for him as well.
It could have been.
I wonder how this does, obviously in competitive play when the pressure's really on. And obviously we still have some time before we get to the offline finals.
Yes.
There's some more time to revamp your strategies and stuff like that. But I have officially calculated out, and I'm pretty sure I'm right on this, 99% sure what's happening with Group D. So now we have Infamous, Exacquio, and eSuba all dropping to Group D.
Okay.
And with Exacquio having ranked 7 in the overall season, they will get a bye on their first round. So we will have Infamous and eSuba play against each other, ranked 9 and ranked 10. That is going to be interesting.
That's going to be real good.
I actually don't even know which one of those 2 teams could pull that one out. But the winner of that will go up against Exacquio, and the winner of that will go into the pot.
This is going to be incredible because let's say it this way, Infamous challenged Fnatic quite heavily. Like they were in their faces. They made them play hard. Then Exacquio picked up a map against Epsilon, and eSuba Neron pushed, the likes of MeetYourMakers to not go through in Group C.
Yeah.
So every single team in that group is pretty unpredictable and very hard to watch. This is going to be a tough group to be in.
The funny thing is that if I remember correctly, eSuba has lost to Exacquio 2-0 2 times in Cup 2 and 3. So if they meet up in the group, that is a big revenge match for them.
Match.
Oh yeah,
that's gonna be awesome. But yeah, today's games have been pretty damn good. I think we can both agree.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, they've been all right. They've done okay. They've done the job.
Not bad.
But
Not bad
in
for
the
Monday.
End, yeah, for a Monday, it's pretty damn good. No one likes Mondays, but in the end, we saw some brilliant games. Dignitas looking exceedingly strong. A new team, Neron. We've been waiting. I think it's a big thing that everyone's been waiting for those Finns to step up. Pretty much. They had this big reputation from.
Dogbert has.
Yeah, Dogbert put a lot of faith in you guys. All right.
He's lost a lot of skins on them.
Yeah, indeed. The poor guy. He's been stressed out for so long, and finally no. But Dignitas have always been a good team. There's no saying anything against that. But they finally got to that position where they're comfortable. They're finally there, you know what I mean? They're finally getting to that position where they're challenging the top teams. They're claiming that first spot. Like MYM. MYM are a respected side. You can't say anything against that. Look at the offline finals. So seeing Dignitas get there is brilliant. That's what these groups bring out, is the best in teams. MYM got challenged by eSuba. They got really pushed to their limits throughout this entire day. And ESC, a respectable opponent as well. I think we can say nothing against them, considering how close, and bravely they played. They had a very tough game. They faced off against Dignitas, who are now apparently this super team out of nowhere.
Whoa.
Come on, look, I'm going to say it. They played well, but ESC had a tough time. If you look at the games they now had, if you take it into account that, okay, so eSuba nearly beat MYM. And Dignitas looked drastically stronger than everyone. It's not exactly an easy way through.
True, very true.
They kind of had a tough route in any way you look at it.
And one thing I like looking at right now is the 6 teams we do have qualified is
Take me through
damn strong.
Take me through them.
Fnatic, Planet Dynamics from Group A, PowerGen Epsilon from Group B, and now Dignitas and MeetYourMakers from Group C. Like, that is a ridiculous lineup already. And then to imagine we have eSuba, eSuba, or Infamous coming in third.
It's big. I think we got upsets coming in.
I honestly could not tell you who I expect to win right now.
No, not at all. Like, you look at today, every single group has had upsets. They've had outstanding teams who are generally going through that decider group. They've had, complete surprises, some lacking performances from top teams, some rising up. This has been an unbelievable group stage, and I think we have this every single time, but this has been truly a defining point that anyone can have their day here, and a lot of teams nearly have. And they've got themselves through to that deciding group. So, your predictions, who do you think is going to be that one team? Go on, call it now, and we'll see on the day.
If I call out, will you call someone out?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're going to call it the same team, though.
Okay.
Infamous.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
then again, Zavod picked up a map against Epsilon, which is...
But the thing for me is that they've had time since Group A to work, because they know they're going to Group C, or Group D, sorry. They've had time to prep, and they've probably had time to look back and be like, yeah, we're really good on that map. We're damn bad on this map, so maybe we should work some things out. Yeah, and obviously have time to see their opponents play. Yeah. It's going to be a little bit harder for, obviously, eSuba and eSuba to do it, because they have to go back and look at the VODs.
True.
I don't know. I kind of have them pitched for it.
I'm with you on that, because French teams seem to turn up in these events. You know what I mean? Like, PowerGen did something ridiculous last time around.
Against Authority, it was Drunks' fault, though.
Yeah, we blame Drunks.
That guy's not a Frenchman.
How could you? Anyway, guys, we're pretty much done for today. So I do once again ask you, make sure you follow all those social media outlets to get involved with all of us here in the studio, because we do like hearing from you guys, as you can see down below. Make sure you go over to Facebook, Twitter, even YouTube if you really want to. Like, there's some VODs up there from some point or another if you want to hear him casting the previous games. If you do want to find out where we're hyping up some of these French teams, what's so great about them? Go back to the first season and watch a couple of those teams, who kind of stepped up a little bit there.
A little bit,
tiny bit. Don't want to give away too much, but do head over there and check it out. But guys, if you do want to see more, if you want to be finding out who'll be joining those other teams in those offline finals, make sure you tune in on Wednesday the 7th, because there's going to be some great games going down. We'll be live on this channel, so follow it here on Twitch TV, and hopefully it'll be us to bring it to you. So guys, we'll see you next time. Make sure you tune in.